Hello, Siegfried Trent here again. Welcome back to my video series, What Do I Think About? Today's question is, what do we do with all the stupid people in the US? Now, this is verbatim the question I was asked, and this question comes from my Aunt Pam, so thank you, Pam, very much for the question. Now, I do want to say, I don't want to call people stupid if I can help it, okay? I think it just creates a lot of animosity. Not that I don't understand the impulse. I get the frustration. One of my habits is kind of to argue with people on the internet. I try to be kind of nice and positive about it. I get called stupid a lot. I try not to do it to other people if I can help it, but I get the idea. And also, I'd like to say I don't think the United States is especially stupid. We have our own brands of stupid, for sure, that we are very familiar with here in the US, and other people are to some degree as well. But I've spent a little bit of time traveling around the world, and I can tell you there are kind of stupid people, or what we'd call stupid, everywhere. And there are different kinds of stupidity available everywhere you go. So ultimately, look, we need to live with one another, stupid or otherwise. And so it comes down to having different strategies to deal with conflicts with people who you feel are stupid in some way. But first, I want to talk a little bit about kinds of stupid, as the case may be, because it affects our strategies. And I think there are really different aspects, and we're going to lump them all together as stupid sometimes when we're feeling angry, but we need to think about them because what we're facing is going to change the strategy that's going to be able to best deal with it. Okay? So first of all, let's talk about ignorance. Ignorance is just not knowing things, right? So you haven't read about this. A lot of people will spout off an opinion. They're familiar with something, but they don't actually know very much about it. That's ignorance. It's very common. Everyone has it. Like, we are all born knowing nothing. So we really shouldn't get angry that other people are ignorant. This is just the way life is. Now, if somebody, like, if it's their profession or you're paying them to know about something and they prove to be ignorant, oh, okay, that's a problem. But generally speaking, in life, everybody is born super ignorant, and we spend the rest of our lives trying to fix this problem to some degree, and we never completely succeed. Because no matter how much you learn, you're still going to be ignorant about something. And yet, we have to live our lives. We can't just sort of say, if you don't know anything about it, don't speak about it, don't have an opinion. But we all have to make decisions every day. We have to have opinions. We have to make decisions. So we have to deal with our ignorance. So what do we do to fight that? Well, number one is education. Share what you know with other people. I am always doing this. One of the reasons I have this video series. I want to give my ideas and thoughts to other people. You can mull them over. You can grow in your understanding. Maybe you can point out where I'm wrong. That's okay too. I don't mind being challenged because that's how we learn. So education is really good. Embrace your own education. Help other people learn. Don't think that everything that you know is true, but do share what you know and how you know it, and then other people can judge for themselves. We should be kind when we're teaching others. Again, the fact that somebody doesn't know something isn't like a fault for them. It's okay not to know things. So if you meet somebody who doesn't know something, say, hey, let me help you out. Let me share this information with you. Go ahead and read this and you'll learn about it and then you'll know more, right? So that's good. Try to be nice about it, because if you're mean about it, they're just going to ignore you and they're not going to read it. They're not going to get educated. You were not fighting ignorance. You were just sort of perpetuating it almost. But at least you tried. So do share information and be kind. And remember, you should start early and you should never stop learning things. I think that's always good. All right, next up, irrationality. By this, I mean not just being dumb, not being capable of thinking, but thinking with your heart, thinking with your emotions, right? Which is natural for human beings. I'm going to do another video about this sometime. But I mean, we all have emotions. It's part of being human. And they do drive our decision making because they provide us motivations, right? And that's important. But rational thinking is kind of our higher mind, able to analyze a situation, get beyond our emotions, understand things in this kind of intellectual, rational way. Not everybody's going to do that. You're going to run into a lot of people that just feel strongly and they don't really want to listen to ideas or thoughts, think these things through. So what do you do when you encounter this kind of a thing? Well, I think you have to start by understanding motivations. You have to understand the feeling that is driving somebody and what they're trying to say. You have to acknowledge that feeling and say, look, I get what you're feeling and I understand it and I know why you're feeling it. And it's okay. It's good. I feel the same way to some degree. Then you try to layer on the rationality on top of that, right? And you have to approach it in an emotional way. You have to appeal to that emotion. That is the driving motivation. You've got to appeal to it somehow in your argument and in your reason. And if you can do that, if you can stop that conflict between the desire and the emotion, then you have a chance of introducing some rationality into the situation. It doesn't always work, but sometimes it does. sometimes you just have to give up and work around them. And we'll talk a little bit about that later. Emotions are really hard to change. You're probably never going to succeed at that, but you can build on them and try to kind of go around it that way. All right, next is foolishness. This is a little bit like ignorance, but it's a little bit different. It's really about a lack of experience. People maybe have told that this is the way things are, and they're like, look, I read it in a book and I saw it there, and you're like, no, it's not like that at all. This happens with like race relations and other things like that, and stereotypes and stuff. So what people need is a broader range of experience in order to kind of know these things on an intrinsic level themselves, right? They need that kind of experience to get rid of foolishness. And so how do you do that? Well, you have to give people new experiences. It's not a very easy thing to do. It's something you can do if you know somebody really well, if you have a close connection to them. Like on the internet, talking to people, really hard to do. The best that you can do is suggest a new experience for someone, something like that. So I think if you encounter a lot of foolishness, try to diffuse the argument and focus on experience. Talk about what you've experienced. Try not to change somebody else's mind. Give your own expression, your own experience and expression, and try to get them into your headspace and understand how you're feeling, and then maybe ask them questions about what experiences they have had that led them to this conclusion, and see if their opinions are really grounded in actual experience or they're just assumptions that they've made about something else. And then maybe you can encourage them to get out and have these experiences and check those assumptions that they have. It's important not to guide people too strongly here, because really folks are going to learn and decide better if they have the experience and the thought themselves. So you can kind of plant the seeds, you can give the framework or an outline, but they really have to go do it for themselves in order to combat foolishness. That's just kind of how age and experience works. All right, last up, kind of straight stupidity, like or they just don't understand, or laziness, like just a lack of desire to try and do the mental jogging in order to do it. So they just knee-jerk reaction, some sort of slogan or something. Like really, this is the kind of thing that like cults program people to do. They just get them to stop thinking and just react, right? So how do you deal with this? Well, number one is to just make things really easy for people to understand. Do the legwork, point by point, make your speech incredibly clear. Try to make it really easy for them to reach a conclusion, really easy for them to understand something, or most importantly, really easy to do whatever it is you want them to do. If something is easy, you're a lot more likely to persuade somebody, especially somebody lazy or somebody who just can't figure it out, right? So figure it out for them, make it real simple. And in a sense, this just means to be manipulative, right? If somebody is kind of foolish, really stupid, and they're lazy, they're actually a lot easier to manipulate. You can probably figure out a way to do it, get what you want without actually changing them. Might be the only way you can do it. All right, so for everybody, right, this is all kinds of stupid, whatever it is that's frustrating you out there. First, start early to fix the problem. So the people that you can best reach and educate are children. So I'm not, people will say brainwashing. That's not really the intent, but you do want to expose people early before they've formed biases and make this information available to them. I don't believe in telling children what to think, but I do believe that we are all, as adults, responsible for teaching the next generation. And so, in a sense, sadly, children are kind of the battleground of the social universe, right? So what they believe will be what the future believes. So start early, make information available to children, teach them for critical thinking skills, teach them to think for themselves, hopefully, not just what you want to believe. And we'll create a more intelligent, wise, and experienced group of people. Give them lots of experiences, give them lots of opportunity to have experiences, and to figure these things out for themselves. All right, so the next thing to do with everybody who gives you a problem, outmaneuver them. If they are really stupid, if they're really ignorant, if they're really foolish, and you're not, you should be able to beat them. All right, maybe there's a lot more of them than you. Well, get some friends, right? Find other intelligent people, work together, surround yourself with smart, educated, wise, interesting people that you can learn from and grow with, and outmaneuver the fools. All right, like if you come into conflict with them, you should have the advantage. Try to win. All right, that's what I try to do when push comes to shove, as it were. Okay, so that's it. Remember, we all have to live together. Let's try not to engage in battle. Keep your conflicts. Pick and choose your battles, like is the most important thing. Don't get into a conflict with stupid people if you don't need to, right? Try to help them out if you can, but if you don't need to fight, don't fight. Just let it go. All right, live your life. Use your own intelligence for your own benefit. Let them live their life. It's not your job to fix everybody, all right? This way, we can live together. We can have a good time. But if we want to have a discussion, if we want to interact, Those are some strategies you can use to try to get the better of the situation or to help other people come up to your level if that's the way you feel about it. All right. So if you want me to talk about something that's of interest to you, please leave a comment or contact me somehow. Let me know what you want me to discuss, and I'd be happy to do it. I'll give you my opinion, or I'll try to answer a question. Either way you want to do it. If you enjoyed my videos, please subscribe to my channel. Get the little link down there, and click notify if you want to be notified when there's new videos out here, which is great for me. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, and thanks so much for supporting our channel. Okay, bye-bye, everybody.